Elephant is part of one of the largest auto insurance companies in the world with operations in 7 countries. But we only have one hometown, Richmond. Thank you, Richmond. We're proud to be one of your fastest growing employers. More care, less cost. That's the Elephant difference.
Well, some things are different, some things are the same. Coach Jim Cruz is one of the constants. I think he's doing a phenomenal job with that program and with the team this year. They've got a lot of new guys, a lot of young guys, but you can see really with each game they're getting better and better, gaining confidence. Obviously, their home court is a tough place to play, so we're going to have to play good basketball if we want to go up there and win.
A couple days off leading up to that game, this week without a game, kind of how we utilize this time of the year.
Same way we would utilize it any other time, practice, get better. We've got some guys that are banged up, so try to get them healthy, closer to 100%, and just work on things that we need to improve. I think, we're about midway through the season in terms of the regular season, or a little bit more than that. So the focus needs to be on growth for our program as a team and also individually. We've got a lot of younger guys that we've got to just make sure that they continue improving and getting better so that we can play our best basketball when it matters most.
Coach, can you give us an update on Trayvion's status? Do you expect him to play on Friday, and will he start to practice at full strength here?
Well, I expected him to play last Saturday, so I don't know. I mean, it was kind of a strange deal. Obviously it was a injury that bothered him in the Rhode Island game, but he was able to tough it out. And then we were off the next day. He did not practice the day after that, and then he practiced on a limited basis the day before the Duquesne game, but he looked pretty good moving around. We went over to Duquesne and shot that night. Then before the game, the guys always go out on the floor and do like a pre-warm-up. They said he was – I wasn't out there, but they said he was moving around decent. And then Eddie came in right before the game and just said he's not going to be able to go. His ankle stiffened up. So, one thing I know about Trey, if he could play, he's going to play. So obviously that thing was really bothering him. So I don't want to – I said he would play in the Duquesne game, so I was wrong. I don't want to say for sure what he's going to do in the St. Louis game. We're hopeful that he's going to play. But obviously he's got to make strides from where he was on Saturday afternoon. Yeah, it's something that we'll talk about, with the guys today. I think it's really important that this day doesn't pass without having a conversation with young people about Martin Luther King, particularly African American men, which is the guys that we coach. What does it mean to me? I mean, he's opened up a lot of doors for a lot of people, when it came to equal rights under the law. But, as my wife and I talk about all the time, there's still a lot of progress that needs to be made because we still do very, very much live in a society that is affected by the legacies of slavery. So, I think we owe it to him and the work that he did to continue making progress.
Coach, can long road stretches like this, where you're not home for 17 days in terms of a game, can that affect the team mentally, or how does that affect the team mentally, and how do you guys have to make sure that you stay sharp in that regard?
Anything can affect you mentally if you let it. It's not like we're in the NBA and we're on the road for 17 days. That would be certainly a different deal. But we come home after each game. We reset. We practice in Franklin Street Gym just like we would if we were playing at home. I think a lot of times, especially as you get further and further into the season and into your conference season, everyone uses the word grind. It's all what you make of it in your mind. So if you want to make a big deal out of when we've been on the road for 17 days or 3 straight games, and how are we going to be able to deal with that? Then it can be a big deal. Oliver Purnell is a guy that I worked for at 2 different places. I have a ton of respect for him, and he always used to talk about not allowing people in the program, players, coaches, anyone, to think that they're tired. He used to talk about sometimes when you think you're tired, you can kind of do yourself a disservice. So, particularly with this game Friday, we have 6 days in between games. So I don't think that we should be impacted by playing our last 2 on the road. But at the same time, we've got to go to St. Louis and follow the process that goes into winning on the road against a good team, and that's not something that you can take for granted. You've got to go out there and do it.
We talk a lot about ground-based defense, but how has he grown the last 2 years as a point guard?
Oh, he's done a much better job managing our team as time has gone on. I'm really pleased with his growth in that area. He's the best guy by far on the team at getting guys shots, particularly Mel and Trey, who are our 2 best scorers. Bree does a good job really looking for those guys. When he got here, offensively, he was not a point guard, and he's become that. He's really come a long way. He does a great job pushing the basketball on the break. Between him and Jaquan Lewis, they saved us really in the Duquesne game, because when Trey went out, our zone offense, zone attack was kind of frazzled, not very good. And, those 2 just took it upon themselves to get into the lane and create some good shots for their teammates.
Coach, does it present any challenges when you see a St. Louis team that, it looks so different than last year? You mentioned that earlier, their personnel is basically totally different. Is it different in terms of, I guess you have to scout a little bit more, you haven't seen them as much. Does that, I guess it's just like playing a team that you haven't seen before, but what challenges does that present?
Well, it is different in that, we kind of got to the point with last year's St. Louis team, and I would guess they probably got to the same point with us, that we knew each other, like the back of our hand. I mean, and we didn't play 100 times, but it seemed like, when we played, it was, it was such a big deal on both fronts, or at least it was for us. And our guys had a heck of a familiarity with a lot of those guys. It's college basketball, so, in certain years, in certain programs, there's going to be a lot of change. We went through it after the 2011 season. We lost a lot of guys. They've got some really good young guys. They've got probably the best freshman in the league so far, a kid by the name of Malik Yarborough, who's just playing terrific basketball. They've got, some guys that really show a lot of promise. And when you watch them play, because Coach Cruz plays a lot of guys, he may play a deeper bench than anyone in the conference. You look at it and you say, oh, those guys are going to be good.
Elephant is part of one of the largest auto insurance companies in the world, with operations in 7 countries. But we only have one hometown, Richmond. Thank you, Richmond. We're proud to be one of your fastest growing employers. More care, less cost. That's the Elephant difference.